What are you talking about? Trusty 8. Check. 1, 2. All right. So, decided to start up this stream this morning. Yesterday's streams did not go well. My Prism stream I had to delete because it never went through or whatever. It was like 2 seconds of nothing. And then my StreamYard stream, obviously there were some extreme audio issues. So hopefully this one's all right. I'll go take a listen real quick and then turn that down a little bit. So what I was talking about yesterday essentially was the plan for this stream and the upcoming streams. And so this is a series I'm going to start because it's going to take me a couple videos to watch these conversations, me, myself, and Irenic. It actually starts out with a conversation that Irenic is reviewing on Togg's channel, reviewing a video on Sammy's channel, and I might be present for some part of it. I don't remember. I just know I saved it here. And then we'll move on to the portion of the conversations that I had with Irenic, because there's a couple of them. Now, unfortunately, this spans a long time. The history with Irenic, a lot of people know Irenic around here come to this channel, right? And so the original interactions of like me getting into it with Irenic on Wildheart's old channel, that video no longer exists, unfortunately, because I would love to start there, but those videos got removed, so unfortunately, because I would love to start there, but okay. Those. I'm going to go back and turn the device volume down because, oh no, that's my microphone. What am I thinking? But I'm listening to it on playback. So yeah, it is. It's the device volume. It took me a second to. Okay. Just turn that back down a little bit. And go to the video, which is, oh really, you're going to go back to the, all right, whatever. I know where I was.
Oh. Good morning, Joe.
Give me one quick second.
So what didn't you like about Jesus Camp again?
I mean, everything. from what I've
think it's
seen
funny.
from Mills.
Well, a little kid crying because he's not able to do something, that's pretty fucking hilarious. Like, that's every fucking little kid.
Yeah.
I can't do it! Nah. To be honest, it's just, okay. Get good, scrub.
You might just disagree with the teachings, but you really have no epistemic warrant to.
Yeah, fuck you. I'm out of here.
Oh my god, I knew he was gonna.
There you go. So they don't like Jesus Camp, so we'll send them to a camp where they can learn about transgenderism. That'll be better for them.
Well, you could always step in and watch. I didn't even know William was streaming.
Oh yeah. Let's eavesdrop.
Yeah.
Let's snipe Willie's. You see, they don't have people to respond to their nonsense over there, so they want to demonize Jesus Camp. Jesus Camp is a very good camp to send your children if you're a Christian.
I wouldn't want to send my kid anywhere near fucking anything called Jesus Camp, to be honest. I'd rather get shot. Unless, like, I'm in
yeah, see, Togg's got the right idea.
charge there to make sure, like, none of the people are, like, weird secret pedophiles, because, you know, that's what people do. And it's not a matter of...
I was listening to a Friendly Atheist stream yesterday, and they were talking about this missionary group, and they go around the world doing, like, outreach to indigenous people or whatever, and so they would go out to these countries, you know, there's, like, one in South America, I think the other one was somewhere in the Middle East, and so they go out to these countries and they do missionary work. They send Americans over there, right? And so basically, like these families will go together. There'll be like a group of families, and they'll go out. And then while all the other people are out doing missionary work, there's like a couple of the parents are left in charge of the house, to take care of all the kids, right? Well, they had like multiple instances over a number of years of sexual abuse going on. Like these missionaries were going to these, to take advantage of these Christian children. Like they were just left there alone with them in like some strange country. So I mean, it's not a good idea.
Like Christendom's fault, but like just people in general being fucking sickos and taking advantage of situations like that. Yeah, I don't fly with that.
Yeah, you have to be careful wherever you send children, right? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Sorry, Bon.
first and
Didn't mean to
foremost.
confuse
But
you.
I thought
Yeah,
it was really
I
good
figured I better
teachings.
put my face up
Trying
there.
to figure out where I got stuck.
Anyway, I was just kind of curious about that Jesus camp stuff. It was kind of.
You know what's weird? I asked William. I highly doubt he will
consider it
do
over
it.
the
I
top.
asked
I would
William
never send
to.
my-
What does one do at Jesus camp? I mean, do you like, you take turns playing the Romans and nailing them to the cross, or I don't know. John Level, learn how to shoot and read the Bible book. Ah, yes, that's what you do at Jesus camp, huh? I thought they'd like take turns. Like one would be Jesus and get nailed to the cross, and the next you'd be the Romans. And you'd like have a group of kids like throwing stones.
To that camp.
Kind of give me the same type of live reviews that he would do.
I'm gonna try to.
Isn't it wonderful how weird how like some people will only face you in person,
Whoever
but they'll
gets
never
the clip.
face like the actual videos you make or record.
So, just wandering through my mind today. Because deconverting is like unscrambling eggs.
I was
Yeah,
like,
Back to my family's connections. Trying to figure out where I got stuck.
Hopefully, when they get older, they'll learn what Acts 2 actually teaches about speaking in tongues. Well, that's where discipleship comes in and Bible study.
interpretations and translations. Yeah,
Okay, I don't want to hear it.
converted by roots. So
Right.
maybe this is. Let me see it.
Oh my god.
That sounds like bad Hebrew. Like they're trying to
Bad
translate
Hebrew.
something in Hebrew, but they can't.
Hopefully, when they get older, they'll learn what Acts 2 actually teaches about speaking in tongues. Well, that's where discipleship comes in and Bible study.
Interpretations
yeah,
and
yeah.
translations. Yeah.
Well, I was never,
There it goes. Hold up. I'm trying to hear what he says. Sorry about it. Let me snap.
well, I was never one of these types of Christians. I remember in my Christian walk when this movie came out, Jesus Camp.
Oh, that's
I remember
William.
watching it
Okay,
like-
so this is
I
William's
didn't even
video.
follow the
Okay,
Bible,
maybe I
the
can.
Pentecostal
I
gibberish.
was looking at the
But a lot
wrong.
of what they were doing, I was okay with.
I
It's
thought
not
it was
actually- I look back at it now and I'm like, what the fuck?
420 Atheist's video. So.
We have to make our kids Christians by any means necessary because
All
if
right,
not,
let me see if I
they
can
won't
find
do
that one
so what length
because I'd
would you be
rather.
willing to go to ensure that your kid is in heaven with you?
Yeah, stop it.
I'm just gonna because I'd rather see. Let's stop sharing that one a second, and I'll go to William's channel. Oops. Just give me a second here.
I'll give you a
Line of
second.
the Funny Christian. Maybe? Oh, got company. Oh, here's Jill. Hey, Jill, what's happening? Give me a second. Let me pause this.
Can you hear me?
Hey there, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
I can hear you. Did you ask if you were
Oh,
coming
okay.
through? Yeah. Yeah. No, I was.
He said, "What's going on, man?"
I only caught a little bit of that discussion you guys were having this morning, and so I was just jumping back to that. But some of that was
you guys
kind
were
of
doing that. Yeah, I was going to tell you in the chat that was on William's channel, not 420.
okay. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
noticed that once I saw the video. Actually, I like, oh, that's William.
Yeah, so you can review his instead of reviewing him.
No, right? No, I know.
You know, like
I got his video up now.
5 levels of
So
people on
you
the
didn't
panel.
you didn't happen to go into his channel at the time. I mean,
Those are actually some of my favorite reviews. Like this one, it's like a review of the. Yeah, it's good.
in that hangout anywhere or no?
No, they banned me.
Oh,
Well, I think he officially banned me when Bro Joe was there. So when Bro Joe is present, I'm not
okay,
allowed
so
to
if
be on
he's
the
there,
stream.
you can't be. Why? What's is that?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
no, it's just an excuse not to let me on. That's all.
Well, I just wouldn't expect Brojo to be involved in this. I mean, Brojo's pretty non.
Well, he did the
Whatever.
same thing with
I know he
Walmart.
doesn't like the fact that you don't come on camera. I know that. Whatever.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, he did
Okay.
the same thing
Yeah, I
with
get
Walmart. So yeah, that's just Bro Joe. He doesn't
Well-
like to lose.
I don't see. Yeah, I can understand what he's doing with Wildheart. I don't know what he's doing with you. I guess. So-
Well, he claims that he's doing it because of my conversation with Pine Creek. So that's the excuse he propped up. Now,
Oh.
yeah, I got a reason to ban
So,
Joe permanently
all of a
now.
sudden now you're an especially evil Calvinist
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. Is that okay?
That's
It
it.
has
That's
to do
it.
with.
Yeah. So now he wants to get on his moral high ground. He wants
Well,
to take the
yeah, but
moral
you
high
did the same
ground.
thing. You did the same thing because you figure out what are the entailments that I'm seeing from what he's saying, and those entailments must be true about him. So he's a heretic, or in Brojo's case, he's a fucked up individual, man. I don't want to have his
Oh yeah.
voice on my
Oh yeah.
channel.
But I would love to destroy all of his arguments. However, so
Well,
it's the argument he's afraid of. It's not. It's nothing to do with being. Because if he thought he could defeat my argument, he would surely invite me on
I'm thinking they're talking about Will here, not Brojo, as far
and
as
show everybody how he
but
defeated the
Joe,
big bad Calvinist.
Joe,
Right?
you're talking to someone. I mean, we've had our
Pine Creek is a fascist. Yeah, Pine Creek has some just disgusting ideas, and he's wrapped in that the disguise of a nice guy, and then when you like actually listen to him, he's just absolutely despicable. I love those ones.
talks, and you probably think you've won some of your arguments against me,
Of course,
right? So
all of them.
yeah, but
Well,
I don't
because
think
you,
so. I don't think so.
I do.
Like to me, it's so obvious that the Bible teaches open theism.
Ah,
Like,
there
and
we
you
go.
don't see it. It's like, but I don't call you a heretic because you don't believe the
Okay.
Bible.
Well, no. If you're talking about Christians, fighting or arguing, that's different than an atheist, right?
Yeah, but you don't even think
That's not what heresy is it? I mean, disbelief is apart from heresy.
I'm a
Is
Christian,
different
dude, because I'm an open theist, and that's a different God.
Well, there's some open theists who I think might be okay. But then there are
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
some Calvinists are okay, right?
no. I'm thinking
There's
of
a few of 'em.
universalism. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of universalism.
Oh,
No,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
open theism is. I think it's more pantheism than.
Well, I do hold to a panentheistic model, which is like sort of an in-betweener.
Right.
But
Yeah.
and I get why, and I mean I think
Well, yeah, John. I mean, I get that to them to disbelieve is bad, but it's not the same as like believing in other gods or something, which is or worshiping, like literally worshiping Satan. If somebody actually did that, not like the atheist Satanist, but like somebody who actually worships Satan and all of that, that would be a different than like just pure disbelief. Those are two different categories of sin or whatever.
and I hold to that God is a spatial temporal being,
Right.
and he has properties that he can exist invisibly or visibly, without changing
So God is a physical dude according to Irenic.
his nature. So if you're gonna have a model like that, none of the stuff's gonna line up with other Christians' views, like sort of.
Or
you
the
know what I
Bible.
mean? No, I'm appealing to the Bible because the Bible teaches this stuff that God birthed the universe into existence. What kind of
John Lovell says, I think it is all bullshit. I tend to agree with that.
Or you can't you got to keep some kind of connection between the language and the fact.
God birthed the universe into existence.
Yeah, according to Moses.
So yeah, I mean, it's like, and I've had to, go, on this circuit with people having discussions where it's like, oh, well, can you disprove, X, Y, and Z? And it's like, no, I can't disprove X, Y, and Z, and I can't necessarily tell you, give you all of the answers to, all of these, existential questions or whatever. But I could just say with certainty that it didn't happen the way it says in the Bible, right? I can tell you that shit did not happen. That's fucking fantasy, right? Just based on the story itself, comparative to everything I know about reality.
According to Moses.
That's just Bible. That's Psalm 90 verses 1 and 2. If you look at the Hebrew, that's the picture.
Who got him pregnant?
I think he's impregnant. He birthed. He don't need another person to get pregnant. He can just
He impregnated himself.
You can just say, "I'm pregnant." Okay. Here. Well, so did Mary? Do you think Mary had sex to become pregnant?
He could just say, "I'm pregnant." Imagine that. Imagine a woman walking down. I'm pregnant. Poop.
I assume it's kind of the language is metaphorical. Hello.
I get it. Yeah.
Hello, Victor.
I thought dudes couldn't get pregnant in y'all's worldview.
Hey, what's up, angel babies?
I'm just
That's
warning.
bored tonight.
I'm just
And
warning the Leviathan thing. The Leviathan gang won't come in here if I'm here. So if you want me to leave,
Jill,
then-
I'm not gonna ask you to leave unless you do something that warrants it. But
but that won't happen.
I got 6 people I can have in here. But that's all right.
You had the Obama night.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Obama.
I got Obama Light StreamYard.
Obama light. Obama yard.
How does fucking have anything to do with Obama? How is that even fun? Having the free StreamYard package is akin to having an Obama phone, apparently.
Yeah, but anyway, so hey, Victor, did you happen to see that Williams hangout when he was going over the Jesus camp stuff?
I didn't catch that part. Got in there a little bit after that. They closed out the little Jesus camp. I saw I seen the documentary before though.
I think I must have seen it. It's an older one, right? Because they were talking
is. I seen
about
it like 5
people
years
are
ago,
growing
I
up
think.
now. Or something.
I wonder if they're going to get back into the video at all. Or just...
I don't see where they
2006.
are.
Oh shit!
2006.
2006. So yeah.
15 years.
Guys.
Yes. If you
Oh,
believe
boy, here we go.
if God, so you think you kind of believe that this is a means that God has established, in that case at least, and He's using that to bring,
Irenic looks high as fuck.
these kids are being regenerated.
So I'm sorry, PJ.
Could be because
I don't know
it could be because his beanie's in his eyes too.
how this
though.
works, dude.
I'm sorry, PJ. We can be talking about
He was hitting that vape pen when he came on a few
Marlboro
minutes ago.
cigarettes, and Calvinism will come up. I'm sorry. I
Hey
apologize.
man,
Everyone, St.
taste
Tommy
their
in
own
Christ.
sin. Hey, say it to yourself.
I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, what do you? I don't believe in gratuitous evil. I don't believe that evil is that God doesn't use any or all evil for good.
Right? Yeah. James, you told the James White line, right? Well,
Yeah.
Wait, that was not clear at all. It does not believe in gratuitous evil. So what?
if God didn't determine that evil, it would be purposeless evil.
Right.
And we can't have purposeless evil running around in my sovereign world.
I think he takes all. I think he takes all of people's free will choice to do evil and uses it for good. And I think he stops 99.9% of all evil.
Dude, that's crazy. That's a crazy estimation. How do you stop 99.9% of all evil with all the evil shit that actually happens, right? If you're going to categorize it that way. And then, secondly, how are you going to say that he uses all of the actual evil that does happen, that less than 1%, according to you, of evil, potential evil that actually occurs, is all actually good in the long run somehow? No. That's a ridiculous claim, Jill. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Hey,
So
bonus
it's that-
points if you guys
That's like
come on camera.
Lysol.
Yeah,
99.9%
that's like
Lysol.
yeah. I believe he stops most of evil that occurs. So if God were to remove his hand from this
Ooh,
country,
man, imagine if he wasn't holding it back.
He stops most evil that occurs. You mean he stops most evil that could occur, like hypothetically. So basically, in Jill's worldview, the world would just be a big ball of evil. Like everybody would just be doing evil shit all the time. Which I guess is pretty consistent with a lot of Christian shit I've heard. I don't know. That's just,
Aren't you?
Man.
I don't know how you could possibly qualify that claim. When he says that less than 1%, he's like 99.9%. Okay, yeah.
You're looking good. I think. I
Thank you,
caught a
bro.
glimpse.
You want another? You want another peek?
Well, just stay on camera, man. Let me see you.
St.
Let me see
Tommy
the
full of
wonder.
grace.
The wonder that it's.
Now fucking Irenic's got a hard on for
St.
St. Tommy.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, if it's just these guys, I'm gonna speed it up
Victor,
because it was
you naked or something?
Yeah, I'm chilling like always, you know.
Okay. I like
the
it.
other video was already sped up that they were watching, but I don't know if they're gonna go
I
back to it or
know,
not.
you're a weirdo. You probably like.
Makes it better for the 0 viewers out there.
You have 0 viewers?
I don't know why
Bro,
it's showing 0
Pepper's out
viewers. It
there.
should have at least one.
It should be
Oh.
4.
Bro,
I believe I was watching this at some point live, but probably not at this point when I saved it.
out there complaining.
Yeah, fast is better. I had sped it up earlier, and then I turned the speed back down because he had Tog had the video sped up that he was watching initially, so I couldn't. It went all crazy. It was going too fast.
Yeah, I got 4.
About
It's just
about
he's
his
gonna be in
personal
about-
aversions. Yeah.
oh, was he out? Oh, I'd come in, but the trash stinks. Throw it out and give it back.
That's
Ah!
Poor
Woo!
baby.
Shoot.
Oh yeah, but I saved this video specifically because at some point here, and we're not going to go through all of this right now, obviously, but there is a conversation that takes place between Irenic and Sammy and possibly Will. I'm not sure if Will comes in on this one, but Sammy does.
Could it be his own upper lip?
Well, you
That's
see,
what he-
you see, Brojo,
And good morning, my awesome life. Good to see you.
Brojo, Irenic's a man, not like that punk that you frequent over there who will allow you to tell him who can come on his channel.
Who are you referring to?
The Leviathan.
What's the deal with you and Will? Why,
It's either
why are
William
you
or
guys
Heretic.
dancing? What's up
Oh,
with you and
Oh,
Will?
no, Brojo told him not to let me on while he's there, so
Oh.
and he listened because I don't believe William is a
What
man.
channel was that?
Not only did I question his Christianity, I question his manhood.
I'm gonna just call that out as a bunch of bullshit. Again, he is omitting some part of the story, or he simply doesn't understand it himself.
Christians.
You're looking for a fight.
Check his stones like a good high priest. Yeah.
Well, if,
So,
if
Brojo,
Drake-
really,
He was probably just outright lying. Actually, knowing Jill, he probably just lied.
all that stuff on Pine Creek's channel and all that. You guys, he's just a regular Calvinist.
Exactly,
A regular
that's what Calvinists
determinist.
he doesn't
I mean,
understand that. He thinks
If you're gonna keep
Here
Jill
comes
out,
the law.
then you're gonna just keep every Calvinist out because if you're gonna press them, they're
that
gonna come
wasn't
to
the reason, Irene. Come on, everyone in here knows.
I'm just
the
saying.
reason.
I'm
This is
saying
therapy
that
tipping
most
toes.
Calvinists, if you press them, if they were being honest, you could press
That's
them
what
and
they
put
would
them in the same corner, and they'd be given
Good morning, Sherwood. Good to see you.
the same answers, basically.
I miss the faster the bullshit, the better, says John Lovell. Yes.
Because you get. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I like V, so, but the rest of these guys, I mean, as far as I know, I've had some interesting conversations with Jill at certain times. I'm not going to say I haven't. And even with Irenic, but you have to play their game. If you don't play their game, then you end up with bullshit.
What? Isn't the reason? We all know the reason why.
James Apperson, hey, good to see you.
because you're black.
No. I'm one of the few Christians who can. St. Tommy's one also who can destroy every contention you have, leaving you nothing but the bare nakedness of your anti-supernaturalism.
Ooh, now it's getting interesting.
That's what Joe can do to any.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in a room with St. Tommy, but I have seen him go off a couple times on other people. I think I've witnessed that.
Believer, including you, Irene.
Like, in a way that I would call abusive.
Yeah.
That's why they fear
Jill,
me.
I think I've forgotten more Bible than you'll ever know.
Oh, that was a good one. That was cute.
I know. I'll have
That
to
was cute. I had to
plagiarize
think-
that one.
I had to think about that one for a second because I'm black, but that was good.
Well, I am kind of older than you.
Yeah, you got.
I might be confused about that, though. He might have been the victim in this. I'm going to have to get back to you on that, actually. I'm going to say I might be misremembering
As
that.
a retired.
So
Yes,
I've had a lot more
nothing-
time to study it. And
Did I?
James Apperson said, Jill needs to share these moments with a qualified therapist. Yes. Got a Dead Wolf Resistance 13. Anti-supernaturalism. Welcome.
more time to forget it.
St. Tommy, you're retired, aren't you?
No, I'm on this silly ass platform 10, 12 hours a day.
But this is-
Exactly.
But this isn't the job, Tommy.
Well, it's part of my calling, so what can I do?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, it's your heavenly job. Okay, you're calling.
Yeah, breathing,
exactly.
guarding my heart, and YouTube.
And grace.
You've
Yeah.
heard of election, haven't you? Biblical kind, where you're elected to service.
Yeah.
I was talking to
Holiness.
Jill. Yeah. So yeah.
God
So St. Tommy
elected
is,
Tommy.
Tommy is one of the elect.
Right.
That's predestined.
I consider. Yeah.
Blame God.
So I guess at this point I'll tell the story because for those who don't know, I had some interactions with Irenic previously, but my first one-to-one interaction that I had with Irenic was on Wildheart's channel, and this was a few years ago. This was like probably 2020 or 2021 maybe. Like 4 or 5 years ago anyway. And basically we're having a conversation in which, basically, just to make it a long story short, Irenic was pushing my buttons, and I was not having it that night, right? I wasn't in that frame of mind. But he was doing it intentionally. He was trying to get a rise out of me, and he did. Um, and, I acted the fool in that situation. But, looking back on it, I totally saw what he did, and I was in the right because I had explained something to him, like a couple of minutes earlier, that he then proceeded to misrepresent throughout, like the rest of the conversation. I ended up increasingly, I'd be like, dude, we just talked about this. And then he kept coming back, like doubling down, just to get me worked up, and he succeeded, and so that was like our first 1-to-1. And I was not very, like aware of the game he was playing at that time.
I know I'm obnoxious, but it's not my fault.
I'll be lucky if I can find a whole things.
How many obnoxious people can we get in here tonight, I wonder? Who else could we get in here? I would suggest Jay Pasek, but I can't say
I don't know. What's your mama doing?
I wish Brojo weren't so pious.
You want to get online? Yeah.
State of affairs. State of affairs.
I wish Brojo weren't so pious,
Well, this is, Brojo's, he's putting up a pretense, that I'm offended. So that.
Dead Wolf Resistance 13 says it's a silly ass platform with them on it, no doubt about that. James Apperson says, guarding my heart sounds like Christianese for making sure nothing comes between me and my Kool-Aid. Yeah, sounds about right.
But I don't like.
Yeah, he's a phony.
No, he's not a phony, but I don't know.
Cool.
I think he wants to make a point.
He's just a
Yeah, this is the opportunity, one of the rare opportunities.
He's shaming one of the members of the community and hoping
I'm
that
a Calvinist. We're gonna get
trying
this.
to get him shunned and
You know what?
shit,
Irenic, that made me want to hold on to Calvinism even more. The mere fact that they hate Calvinism makes me want to hold on to it.
Is this Irenic's mom in the background? Aloha, Cryptomaria, good to see you.
Is that a persecution complex? Is that a persecution
I guess.
complex? Yeah.
Well, it is
one
true.
in Italian.
It is biblical, but here, I'll say this: it makes me want to promote it more now. Most Calvinists don't like to speak on this; they don't like to talk about it.
What's your favorite part of Calvinism? Is it irresistible grace still?
It is, yes.
Oh, I love it.
You love that part of it.
I love it.
He said obnoxious. I'm sorry.
You can't just take one part of the tulip. You got to take the whole flower.
What about limited atonement?
Yeah, you got to take that
That's
too.
silliness. Who's got time to bicker about limited atonement?
Okay,
God's
should I let-
gonna do what he's gonna do.
I guess is everybody considered Tog obnoxious enough to let in here?
Tog's cool, man.
I think so.
Tog is
I
like
think,
Tommy approved.
he's like
Considering you started out reviewing his video, it's only right that you let Tog in the fucking room. Plus, yeah. Lurking and listening at work. Well, thank you for lurking, Crypto. Tender-hearted people do not reality. John, yes. I think I understand what you're saying.
Wait, up there on the obnoxious.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think Tommy approved for now.
What you mean to say is that like some people, in order to guard whatever, like they have some type of fragility, right? Like in their character, in their mind, it's a weakness, and they know it, right? And so they have to deny certain aspects of reality in order to keep that part of them safe. And it's a response to trauma, right? It's a trauma response that they have to contend with. There are things that they just cannot face. Now, I think it's probably possible for most people to do that, but they would have to get into actual professional therapy. They would have to take those steps and trust the process in order to really deconstruct those traumas ingrained in them, right? And then you have to rebuild that confidence. Yeah, John. So they have a fear. Yeah, they do not like reality. It's left out. And yeah, definitely a sense of pity. You gotta have a sense of empathy for the human condition, even if it's not your condition, right? Like that's what I'm really learning about is I have my peculiarities and so do others. And how do I try to not get so lost in my own situation as to neglect the fact that this other person may have a completely different, experience than I do, but we're still inhabiting the same space, the same world, right? And their view of the world is just skewed radically different from mine. But at the end of the day, we're on equal footing, right? We're experiencing the same thing in a different way.
For now.
Room for one more, bro, Joe.
I don't know what I walked into. I saw Irenic was live and I was finishing dinner with my wife, so I'm like, I'll join before nap time.
Well, I'm glad you came in. Beats,
Well, I
sitting here
guess
alone
some of
listening
it's
to your
like
video.
particular.
Thanks. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do
No,
put you to that either.
my voice. My voice.
Did you know I opened up with your video?
No. Well, I did, but I didn't. I saw it in by the comments. I clicked back and saw.
I see. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt. It was going good. Go ahead, Jill, or sing.
Don't over talk me when I'm over talking you.
Right, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We had a new guest.
What do you guys think of misogyny?
Fresh meat.
I love massages.
I started.
I love when she's massaging me.
Yeah, right.
Mama told me to stay away from gay stuff. I know.
I thought of a.
So he says, what do you think of misogyny? And Irenic goes to misogynistic humor. Of course, yeah, that's typical. Krypton Mary says, it depends. If I'm talking Canadian politics, it's not elbows up, it's gloves off, games on. Your feelings don't matter. I mean, but see, I think that's kind of a feeling statement. That's like the George Carlin thing on rights, where he's like, basically, what is it? That I have the right to my opinion, and my opinion is you have no right to your opinion. That type of thing.
Catchphrase. It's misogynistic. It's meat don't speak.
Oh.
I don't get it, I guess.
Is that for your wife?
Yeah, sure. I'm just saying, just meat don't speak.
Don't speak unless spoken to.
It's harsh, right?
Is that in the
It's a hard
Bible?
fill, yeah.
How are you defining misogyny?
Like hatred against women, right?
When you like
No, I define misogyny as in like I'm forced to massage knees because I make the ladies go shut up.
I'm serious.
So legit, like that's it.
Let me look that up. That sounds like a liberal word. Let me look that up.
Uh-oh.
That means the definition can change tomorrow.
Technically, it's not
Right,
misogyny. Women can say to their husbands, "Shut up, meat, don't speak," and it's just as hot. I think it's hotter when a woman says it to a man.
Hey, big love, Will. Good to see you. I think they might end up watching your video at some point. They were watching one of your videos earlier here. Yeah, good to see you, buddy. James, John Lovell said they fear things that they have not been shown to be real. And James Apperson said we all have fears to contend with, but to be so deeply hostage and fragile in the face of life, I can't imagine living that way. Yeah. I mean, we've all had, some experience like that, right? Like completely out of our element, and you just get thrown into it, and it's kind of how you respond to that situation. I can say I've been in that situation multiple times, and I can look back and see when I've responded badly, and shit just goes sideways, and you're just kind of caught in free fall. And then there's those situations where you take it in stride, and if you achieve that, right, you gain more confidence about being in the world. But for people that never take credit for their own accomplishments, because anytime that happens, they attribute it to, the God being or something, external to them. Oh, it was, and I get having gratitude, like for the people around you who help you and everything. But I also believe in taking credit for one's own, accomplishments, right? I think that's important. And, these people don't do that because anytime something good comes out of them, they just go, oh, it was God did it. I didn't do it. It was all God.
Shut up, meat. Don't
Like
speak.
dogging women, women are just,
All right, dislike of, contempt for, or women, or prejudice against women. So that means that allowing men to punch women in the face. I can't wait. I have my popcorn ready, Irenic. I want to see trans men go and fight women in boxing, women's boxing. I have my popcorn ready for that.
Oh,
You know they get their ass kicked.
Like,
I want to
yeah,
see that.
It better be topless.
you know, if you want to see that type of shit, you could just, there's like YouTube channels devoted to like dudes, you know, basically beating up children. You know, it's like chicks that are consenting to box with guys, but obviously, you know, there was I think it was in Kimbo Fights or something. Like Kimbo Fights had a section for co-ed boxing.
Now,
What
that's
about-
the
Hold up though.
That's the
What
side.
about UFC, man? Wait, they got to do the UFC.
Oh
That's-
man.
I'm talking like bare knuckle boxing.
Trans,
Octagon.
can a trans woman complain about getting hit in the balls? Oh my
No
god!
red blows, huh?
Right? Doesn't count.
Wow, yeah, that would be weird, wouldn't it?
Clip this, bro, Joe. I can't wait to see the women get their ass beat. Clip that.
Oh my goodness.
I can't wait for the woman to get.
I don't see the humor. I don't see the humor there. I guess I'm not masculine enough.
Hearing that just on clip, like just hear that just without context. Wow.
Shame.
I've got my popcorn ready.
No, the meat doesn't speak just came out from trying to one up a friend in like a gaming slogan to so you can do the callback. So like yeah, shut up, meat don't speak. It's just shit to laugh at. It's terrible shit to laugh at, bad jokes.
There was another 4x4 relay. Another woman's record was broken by a man. One man.
There's a whole lot.
He looked. I mean, he was just so much bigger and stronger, and it looked like he was just playing with them. Like he just waited for like the final stretch and then just blew past all of them in the 4x4 relay. I mean,
I think
Oh,
there's a lot
the dude
more.
ever looked back and kind of like checked out where they were to slow down a little bit?
Mark,
I seen a race like that. Yeah.
It seems to me that
got no dignity. No dignity.
so like the opposite of misogyny is misandry, right? Misandry, however you want to
I
say
don't
it.
know. I'm not
Polyandry.
Yeah, and anyways,
cow.
to me,
Technically, it could be
there's-
homophobia.
I mean, there's whatever the way people are accusing, people. I mean, if you're gonna accuse people of misogyny, I mean, the levels that it takes.
I gotta get over my
accuse of
homophobia.
that,
Quick, suck my dick.
the level of hatred against men in our society is like fucking way up there, and it's constant in all the media. Men are always getting shit on. I mean, it's like you just expect it. It's just
That's
like
if you let it.
it's so common.
Imagine
Yeah, it's so tough, so hard to be a man. Well, I don't want to get hit. Cryptomary said, "Okay, maybe I've become a little jaded, maybe just a little. It's okay. Forgive you." My awesome life says these douchebags gotta laugh at trans people. Yeah. And Crypto says, "Please call me a turf. It's a compliment." Uh-oh. I don't even want to ride a roller coaster. What about the emotional roller coaster? We could. All right, well, do what you got to do, Crypto. I mean, it's not debate day right now, but yeah, we're I am for trans rights and trans inclusion, but what's funny though is that they have to turn everything around, right? And to me, they have to see themselves as being marginalized somehow in order to make any of this make sense, right? Any of their skewed view of the world, right? They have to feel like they are the victims in order to victimize others, and that's the way fascism works. They have to be told that they are not being treated fairly. They have to believe that in order to actually put the boot on other people, and it's an interesting thing to watch in real time. And these guys in particular, some of these guys have already been called out on a number of occasions, by multiple people. It's not like new news, but since we're here, I think Sammy's going to come in later, and this conversation could take a turn.
If you're a part white man.
Men hate other men. Men are the perpetrator of all this men hate.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I mean, people
Cisgendered.
can do what they want. I'm just saying, if you're gonna bitch about, people not liking. I mean, who doesn't like women?
Can't wear a decent sports bra anymore. Jeez, man.
I mean, Yeah.
Fat guys have it tough, man. Shit.
Those white cisgenders.
Yeah.
But just imagine the woman that's like in her proper place. I mean, how valuable is she?
Barefoot, pregnant at the house.
That was a weird one to hear. I heard Nietzsche say that today about like the feminine side of God. It's like you have to put her in her place. And I was like, she was talking about like like the family dynamic and how women belong.
Oh, that reminds me. I got my my sticker. It actually arrived the other day, but I just got it today for my house here from the philosopher's shirt, and it is the philo-fiction Marx and Nietzsche basically posed as was it Jules and Vincent from Pulp Fiction, in the black suits, their guns, and so it's a good sticker. It's good quality. It's very small. I thought for the price, but it's a really good quality sticker. I'm happy with it, and so I got that. I'll probably order more merch from them. I like a lot of their stuff. So.
She was defending the nuclear family, and she was talking about like the Holy Spirit being feminine and putting her in her place back in the family. But just to hear like you better put the woman back in her place, like it was just crazy. Like, oh my god, but it was still pretty nice. I have to say, I was taking it back. I can understand it. I dig it.
Who was telling you this?
It was on Williams. I joined a little bit after I finished my stream.
But you know,
Nisha.
Oh, okay, of course, yeah.
Women do belong in the kitchen.
So, Jill, what's the plan? What's
Guarding
the
the food.
plan to help God edify Will? What's
What's
the
the
plan?
plan? Well, I offered to help William answer one of his theological hangups or questions, and he declined.
Right,
I said 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes every time you stream, and he declined. So
I mean, even at this point, and this video is a little older, but everybody's heard enough of your shit. Like, no, they don't. If somebody's going to convert him, it ain't going to be you because you've been trying and it ain't been working. So, you have to change tactic if you're actually trying to convert people like William.
which tells me he doesn't really want help.
Right. Of course, he doesn't want help.
yeah, but
William says, "I miss Irenic sometimes." Yeah. So that's kind of part of the reason for this because, well, we can switch now. I was not sure how far to go in this, but so I had a couple of conversations with him over on his channel here, and about a year ago, I guess.
same one. Yeah. Sounds good. So, yeah. So, anyways, just thought I'd pop this thing on.
Hey, Todd. Good morning to you.
See if anyone like me was bored and just wanted to get on after a day's worth of messing around or whatever. Channel. I was just checking out my channel. Let's see lives. Okay, there we go. Just make sure I'm coming through.
I'll let this play. I'll be right back. I have to go put my laundry in the dryer.
Yeah, so looks like we got 3 people listening. Why don't you come on in, anybody? If you want to. There's I think I put the join link in the description. Yeah, it's a join link in the description. I guess I'll paste it in the chat. Let me see. Can I copy this? Yeah, okay. Just paste it on the outside. And pin it. There we go. Yeah, I don't know who might be up or might not be anybody up. I can't even play my guitar right now. All the strings are out. I was going to restring it earlier. And it's all sitting there ready to restring. But yeah, I might see what else is going on out here. I could my internet's really I don't know, it's been spotty lately, so that's why I got my camera off, just to save some bandwidth. So yeah, so let me see. There's something I could put on here to entertain. This might be something to watch. Let me see. Yeah. Tucker and Jimmy Dore going at it. I don't know what that would be about. I don't know. Not much going on in the news today, is there? Just listen to Byron's and Pipa and Byron's show, Sunday night show. Who we got?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up?
How you doing?
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me now?
I can. What's going on?
Just hanging out, man. I just came from what watching? Oh, Ace Theo, yeah.
Oh,
Like, sorry, it's been a lot of streams tonight. Yeah.
I know Brojo just finished one earlier.
Yeah, fucking for
I
few
heard
days.
Wildheart.
Oh yeah, that's right. I haven't seen his. I gotta find his new channel. I forgot he had to make a new channel again. That incident.
Yeah, I hadn't found it either.
Yeah, he came by my place a few days ago. He was looking better.
What did I miss?
You mean, okay, since he's fallen off the wagon, better than
Yeah,
sometimes?
well,
Is that what
he's
you
still
mean?
off the wagon, but yeah, at least he was a little more rational.
I mean, he made a good run. I mean, it was a good run till, whatever. But yeah, he does a lot better sober, I think. I don't know what his issue is.
It's hard, man. I mean, I'm going through it myself. I had about 100 days sober, and then 2 months of relapse, and just back and forth when you're in that cycle. It's hard to break, man.
Yeah, I had a son that had heroin addiction. Yeah, I went through all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much I don't know about all that shit. Like, it's a miserable thing all the way around.
I hear that.
But yeah. So, what's your is it drugs or alcohol or what with you?
It's been a little bit of everything throughout the years.
So, actually getting on the level with the guy. Because, I think probably he's talked about his son in the past, but this was like the first time I was like, oh, like step back and like actually, humanize the person or whatever, and get past all that,
trying
bullshit.
to get to the core of my issues, which I don't have an official diagnosis, but I'm looking at complex PTSD and stuff like that to try and figure out. So like my whole drug journey started with just weed, and I've always thought like weed was pretty harmless. So I always considered it like a medication because I was medicated as a child, against my will. I was put on, Ritalin and then all kinds of other stuff. So, when I came to the age of reason, I stopped taking the pills and I started smoking weed. But then, I started using other drugs. So I struggled with methamphetamine for a while. And then, over the past few years, my drinking got really heavy. So I thought that was my primary problem. But lately, I actually think it's really been the pot. Has been really like I don't want to say I don't like to say the gateway drug, I think that's all cliche, but it was a catalyst to me making other bad decisions,
It kind of I picture it as like it provides a fertile bed for other things that can grow, that possibly can grow if it, depending on the circumstance, right?
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah,
and I'm noticing
I've always been very
if I
moderate.
oh sorry, I was just saying I'm noticing now if I take time away from pot, certain processes of my brain start going again. Like I had pretty much stopped dreaming. Now I have, if I don't smoke weed, I have very vivid lucid dreams, and I can remember them. If I smoke, I won't dream at all. And I think things like that are probably
It's
important.
interesting because I've kind of I don't know, I've realized, and I'm a daily pot smoker, but for the longest time I don't remember dreams. I mean I assume I dream, but like you just described, I wake up never remembering any dreams. Well, that's not true. Sometimes I do. There are sometimes. I mean, rare occasion, I guess, that I'll realize I'm in a dream. Sometimes I dream, escape. But I think there's there might be something to that.
Yeah, I mean,
Which
I think it's
I
the
don't know,
ritual use of it.
Yeah, I wonder what that might indicate is like some kind of masking of your mind or something that kind of, or could maybe lead to lack of imagination or something like that. I'm just thinking about what this idea of dreaming.
Yeah, I mean it's such like a nebulous thing already.
Okay, so,
like we don't even know that much about dreams, so like we don't know why we dream or whatever.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, but it seems like I there's something important about it, right? That it naturally occurs in all of us. Like anything that shuts that down might be negative.
Yeah. So have you cut that out, your habits?
Well, yeah. Now I mean, I smoked just a little bit of pot today. I didn't smoke any last night, so I've definitely been working on moderation lately. Like as far as drinking, I've been kind of in and out. My body doesn't tolerate it now since I went to rehab for 2 months, and since I came out, like every time I relapse, I have to drink a little bit and I do okay, and then I try to drink a little more and I immediately just get sick. So
what's your
like
alcohol choice?
Usually I drink beer. Lately I've gotten into a little bit of vodka, mixing some Bloody Marys and stuff like that. But usually I'm a beer drinker. I like IPAs.
Well, how many beers? Like you can't drink just like a 6-pack and that's good for one night, maybe.
Sometimes it's all right, and then other times I wake up the next morning and realize I bought another 6-pack and I don't quite remember it.
Mm-hmm. And it's gone too. It's like wow.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah, I mean, usually, like I'd say, like I'm single. I've been single for a while. Kind of.
I'm told. I saw a message. I don't. It was unclear who I was talking about earlier. No, I mean I support the I support the trans people. I don't think the Christians have any valid arguments. So I think there's probably better ways of doing transition, or like preferable ways of doing that type of therapy and stuff. And but so I believe that gender dysphoria is a it's a, what would you say? It's like a disorder, right? Like, I guess is how they would, and the cure for dysphoria is transition, right? In most cases. So, and that's kind of what I've been told, what I've been taught, by me listening to trans people who have actually experienced it. So I validate that experience. So if any of that was unclear earlier, yeah.
Playing in the field right now. That's part of like the issue I'm trying to work on, because I had some pretty dramatic relationships in my past. My most recent ex passed away in February, so I found out about that. That was pretty hard. But we haven't been together for several years.
Yeah, still though, you probably cared for her, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been single since 2016. I've dated a few chicks, here and there, but nothing sticks. Yeah.
I tell you, man. So I'm 64, so I'll be 65 this year. But I can really I've had 2 marriages, 2 divorces, and just like looking back at just first it's more you do like obviously in a marriage or maybe even a serious relationship where you're breaking, you tend to do a lot of soul searching or inner search. You ask sort of questions about yourself.
So, and mind you, like all of this is post. He and I have gotten into it a couple of times in the past, but I don't know if I brought it up at the beginning of this. I was actually listening when I came in, because it sounds like we were talking about Wildheart a bit. But like we had some pretty bitter engagements before, but again, this is like, a few years later. So, just thought it was interesting that this kind of occurred, and there's another one actually.
You evaluate things, or you might evaluate the partner or whatever, try to figure out, what the fuck, happened or whatever. But anyways, looking back now, I don't know, taking a longer view, I sort of see all of like at least America, the society, the American society, it got captured by some kind of, like the secularism or whatever that kind of started in the 60s, the sexual revolution. It was like basically throwing off all the authority, structures and, this and that, so I think it happened at that time. And then, every decade it's just, I don't know, but it's like, I see myself even as kind of capture. I mean, it's just part, like, look at society, marriages, divorce rate, right? Only less than half of marriages survive. I mean, that's, for one thing, I think that's terrible for a society, because I think a society thrives when they have good families, strong family structures, things like that. Institutions like the family are important in a society. But regardless, anyways, I sort of I'm relaxed.
So I don't know if I push back on this, right? But and a lot of people will say like, oh, well, look at the, basically the divorce rate is going up. It's showing like the decline in social cohesion or whatever, the society falling apart because families don't stay together, right? And in reality, basically it was so much more difficult in the past, or sometimes impossible, for a woman to leave an abusive marriage, say, right? Like, and so now that the state facilitates that type of thing and they provide support for her when she does that, right, they're able to do that. Where in the past they would have kind of been forced to stay in that situation, even if it was an unhealthy situation. And so in reality, the viability of divorce gone up, and that makes for better outcomes if people are able to leave unsafe, unhealthy situations that they would not otherwise have been able to do that, right? But I don't think I push back against that here.
More relaxed about personal responsibility. I was holding these women to, in a way, and I guess at the same time I'm gonna cut myself some slack. We're all just people that have been captured by this new, sort of phenomenon, or this new paradigm, that we all grew up in. That, for one thing, marriage isn't sacrosanct, to anybody. It's like, I do until I don't. It's like, so anyways, that kind of thing. So I'll stop there.
Yeah, I'm a little younger. I'm 35, so I'm basically a product of the 90s. But I definitely I find myself in a very different world than I thought I would be in. Like in the early 2000s, I thought there was going to be this whole kind of hippie revolution after Bush that never really happened. Obama's presidency was, I mean, cool. Like we got a black president, but other than that, it's pretty lackluster.
Yeah, and we got legal pot in California at least. So Captain Thomas says, "Improve your aim, William." Well, that's referring to
right, as far as any type of real.
We are
yeah. And so, I mean, for me, like I've always kind of been disillusioned by the institution of marriage. And
Crypto Mario says, "I identify as a millionaire. I need everyone to send me a grand to affirm my identity." Cheap shot.
If you need to sign a document to prove your love, is kind of the way I see it, and then that document can just become null and void, then it doesn't really mean anything. If you want to prove your love to somebody, tattoo their name on your forehead or something. Like if you need to written verification. But I'm very jaded by the whole idea. So like I've been in what I consider long-term relationships.
So Crypto Mario, when you say trans women aren't real women, I mean, so that's a point of contention, right? You mean to say that trans women can't become biological females? I think trans women agree with you there, right? But their identity as a woman is no less valid if they present as a woman and live their life as a woman than they are, in fact, a woman. So there's a conflation between the biological sex and the identity of the person. So, I mean, using, other characteristics or whatever, and trying to be analogous, it just doesn't work. And a lot of people try to do that. So, I mean, I can see how you try to do that, but it's actually not analogous. Was the trans movement cheapening womanhood? I don't think so. I mean, I think if your value as a woman should not be affected by other people's identity, right? That should be something internal to you.
2-3 year relationships consecutively, ended up with kids out of both of them. And my main thing was,
did you ever figure out what was causing that?
Like, well, I was very, very critical of my partners after they had my kids, but I didn't really critically evaluate them beforehand. I just, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I can kind of shape this person, right? And I was young at the time, and so going through that process, I kind of ended up eating crap over after that, because I wasn't really evaluating myself in the same way. I was holding my partners to a pretty high standard, right? So I mean, and it backfired on me, right? Because I'm a father in the state of California. I have no rights, and my word means jack in court. So it's like now I have zero contact with my children, which sucks. So yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm stuck at now.
California.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you feel duty bound to be in the state, right? Or or are you? I mean, you don't have any parental rights. I mean, no visitation at all.
No, well, my oldest are of
Was
the age
that
that
because of your
they
drug use?
decided they don't. In part, yeah.
Okay,
In
so
part, it was a
they're
drug
okay.
use, and yeah. So the older ones, it's their choice. My youngest is my boy, and so I'm still in the fight for him, but it's such an uphill battle, you know. And he's 13 now, so there's not much time left, you know.
It's bad enough if a father has an absolutely clean record. It's like it's really uphill if you got like marks against you, you know. But,
Yeah, well, that's the
so
trouble
your,
with
your,
you know
your
I've
older kids are daughters.
yeah I have 3 girls and 1 boy.
Okay.
Essentially,
Oh,
the two the middle girls won't talk to me because of their older sisters. So it's my oldest daughter who made the decision, and her sisters kind of backed her up, you know. But they're completely removed from us. You know, they live with the grandparents and stuff like that, so they don't have a good relationship with me or their mother, just because of the way that whole situation unfolded.
Well, if you ask me, this is the kind of thing. Like I went through something similar with, you know, I didn't have, like it wasn't a court ordered thing, but it did work out where I don't know, for the sake of things, I didn't end up having the kids a lot of the time, you know, after the divorce, and they were 9 and 13, and so I don't know, there was like 8 years, 9 years, depending on the kid, where you know it was just it was hit and miss. My internet, you know, always the interactions I had with them were good, you know, it wasn't any animosity ever between any of us, but the mother was always bad mouthing me, you know, like just, and she was just a dirty woman. I mean, it's just like she, for instance, this was later on, but my son was living with me, and he was in the middle of this. You know, he had been through several rehabs and relapse, and he was just a fuck up, right? I mean, he was, and it's just miserable for people that love a person like that. You know, it's just like because you don't know what you know.
And, you know, look at it now. Like they like to talk to you about your kid that way, like they're describing, you know, this kid. You just he's a fuck up. You know, kind of tells you where his mind's at. You know, at this point, it's like, and that's sad because I wouldn't, you know. If I was disappointed in my child, I wouldn't call them a fuck up. You know, like I don't know. I don't think I would. It's just some people might call that old school, or you might have other words for it. You know, but Tog says I'm turning into a tuxedo cat. I just found white my chest. What? Rest in peace. I'm now an old monkey. What are we talking about?
Usually you learn right away that you can't just keep giving the kid bailing them out, right? I mean, there's the bailout stage, right? And then it's like, fuck, man, this dude, you gotta. Anyways, okay, so, and then I met this woman. I was living in Palm Desert, if you know where that is, but in Coachella Valley, Palm Springs area. And,
Right.
So I met this woman in Phoenix. She was a flight attendant. Ended up being my second wife. But so this was for 5 years of divorce, right? And so my son was living with me in Palm Desert, and I told him, look, in a month, like I'm moving out of here. I'm moving to Phoenix. I don't know where you're going. You're not going to Phoenix. That's what I know about that, And so you better, So ex-wife kind of sussing things out, like she got into all this, and she figured out that, oh shit, Chris is going to be back at my doorstep. I guess anyway. So she went down and filed at the Child Protective Services, or whatever. Filed an affidavit swearing that I had paid child support, and this is after and thankfully I had proof of most of everything I paid. But a woman in California can go and absolutely swear out a false affidavit, in court, and you can't prosecute, and they would not prosecute her for it. I told her I had to get to that point. Fucking state, like you're fucked as a father. It's like ridiculous. And I paid out. Yeah. I was paying $600 per kid. I paid $600 a month.
Now you don't have to prosecute for it, but you can dispute that back of child support if you have receipts, like bank statements, with receipt of the payments, as I did in my case. But it just wasn't worth it for me at that point to actually go and fight that, right? Because I was actually being sued for child support. It was a statement of my character in court, but it wasn't really considered at that time. So, but yeah, I don't think I don't think it's the same situation like what he's talking about. If he had to pay that back of child support, he could have fought it if he had provided receipts that he had made those payments.
Kid, and that was a long time. That was for I said 9 and 13. So both of them were 18. So 5 years I was paying $1,600 a month, and the rest of it was just $800 a month. So she turned 18. Oh my God! I mean, I know there are some fucked up dudes out there. That's for sure. That are just fuck ups and fuck women over and the family and everything else. You know what I mean? I don't. I work like that and shit and whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's too bad that not every family is a halfway decent one, The world would be a better place if kids were raised properly, huh? But the cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my whole gripe about it, is that I didn't get the opportunity to.
If you notice, I think there's a little bit of a lag between us, which is why there's a bit of over talking back and forth. Just in case anybody's been more curious about that.
Raise my kids, and so now I'm still in the age range where I'm like, okay, should I try for one more? Like really the variable has always been my partner. Like I always have a good relationship with my kids. It's always, the people that I have them with who I have issues with.
Oh.
It's like,
yeah, what I was going to say is there's hope. I mean, if it's your aim to have a relationship with your kids, there's ways you can just be steady and patient about it. Just always be loving and understanding with them if you do have contact, just, whatever. At some point, maybe, think, it's natural to want a relationship with your father as much as you might not like him. You know what I mean? I mean, don't you feel that with your parents? I don't know. Maybe you had a good relationship with your parents, but I'm thinking, I didn't have the best relationship at all times with my dad, but we came to have a good relationship, as good as we ever had, better than we ever had, as an adult later. But it took some struggle sessions to, manning up on his part, I thought.
Yeah, I definitely had the same, like, tumultuous relationship with my father, and like it's gotten a lot better over the years. But it's also just a very different situation that I was in. It's like my daughters have at least been convinced that essentially I chose drugs over them, which was kind of just the narrative. And yeah, it was part of the problem, but that wasn't really what happened. I actually asked their grandmother for help. I told her I was struggling, and she went through the back channel and screwed me over. She was being opportunistic. And I think at that point she was just fed up with dealing with, like I said, me and their mom. Both had issues, so she just went, what, I'm just taking.
You
the
sound
kids.
like a pretty reasonable person. Are you usually this reasonable?
I mean, I tried to be. I probably wasn't at the time. I was pretty pissed off at the time. Yeah.
Well, I mean that is. I'm just saying. Sometimes you have a reason to be pissed off. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying you seem like a very responsible, intelligent. Somebody that's obviously like can function in society and hold a pleasant conversation with a stranger at least. Wow, that's wild.
You seem like a reasonable person over streamer. You don't know. You don't know me, man.
And I think I know what you mean. Like, well,
yeah, but I mean, I've had my moments. I spent drugs.
No, as far as the selfishness against your kids, I mean, I'm pretty sure that in your mind, you would have never felt yourself not motivated to do the best for them. You probably never thought you were hurting them in any way, did you? On purpose, I mean,
No, I mean, I know they were very well taken care of, actually. At the time that it happened, and that was why I made the decision when I did. I don't know if you're hearing me. Did I?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
I'm having some sort of
few seconds off.
Technical issue.
Here, let me jump out and I'll come right back in.
You sound normal. You sound perfect. All right.
Oh, I sound better now?
You sound perfectly normal. Yeah, I mean, I see your thing lighting up.
Oh, I'm not seeing all the comments here. Sorry, guys. Oh, shit.
A couple months ago, and so I've been doing these.
Yeah, I just skipped like 10 minutes ahead in the conversation.
Slight little bit of a delay, but it's not too bad on my end. I just want to make sure that we could. But yeah, at the time that I gave my kids up, essentially, like I knew I was going to be losing my place. I was in crisis. I was trying to figure it all out, and so I was trying to do the next best thing and turn it over to a responsible family member. And like I said, that was kind of really what got to me was that I did do what I thought was appropriate at the time. I reached out for help, and then they threw me under the bus in court. And and that really messed me up. The mother's mother.
Oh man. Yeah, so I had this, I kind of had, with my first wife, 14 years, 2 kids. She has, she fools around with some dude at work, and then decides she wants to get a divorce, right? And I just really had an issue with my in-laws because, I had a good relationship with them. I mean, the stuff I did for that woman, I mean, it's like, holy shit, and then, I mean, what pissed me off about it was that I got no support. Like, there was not any sense of, from their, like, to talk to her daughter to say, what the fuck are you doing? You got 2 kids here. You know what this is going to do to your children? That kind of thing. Like, whatever. You do what you want or whatever. I just, I have strong views about marriage. If you fucking marry somebody, you got family. That's what you need. Especially if there's no, I wasn't out fucking around. I mean, I did.
But see, that's my kind of my issue with the whole thing is it shouldn't, like, marriage shouldn't have anything to do with it. Like, if you have kids together, that's one thing. It doesn't matter whether you actually tie the knot. So, and I think a lot of dudes will try to get away with it that way. They'll be like, "Oh, well, I didn't marry you. I didn't, whatever, blah blah." It's like, okay, but you still fucking raw dogged her, So I mean, that's on you, right? So, anyway, but yeah, we're not argumentative. It goes on pleasantly for a bit this way. We'll come back again. This will be a series. This will be a series because there's a lot of content here. As you can see, getting along quite pleasantly with Irenic there at that point.
Good morning. Give me one quick second.
Oh, no. Maybe up here somewhere.
You need the edification, right? Is he doing that? What is he edifying?
Well, he shovels out an insult on occasion. A clever insult, and that's something. He'll toy with you. He'll rib you.
I wish you would come in tonight.
Do you ever traffic in insults, Irenic?
I suppose I insult people on occasion.
On occasion, gracious heckling, man.
On occasion, that's an understatement.
I mean, I don't ever really want. I don't think I ever openly insult somebody, but I do make it a point in the conversations that to be.
Where liars go.
I mean, so it's not. I mean, it's mocking is sort of insulting.
That's teasing. Yeah, that's teasing. So you try not to revile and below the belt.
No, because I will tell people right out there a fucking dickhead or something sometimes. So yeah, I'm just whenever I'm doing that, I'm trying to just get under somebody's skin. If I can. That's all.
Express.
And that's it. There, he's admitting to what he does. He knows he does it.
Hard not to get under people's skin, I don't think.
Come on in, bro, Joe. I'll be nice. Come on in, bro, Joe.
Oh,
I promise. I won't. I'll be nice. I promise. I'll be nice.
So Joe, what was the exact thing? Point? Was it something about the children, or was it the flood victims? What was it?
It was I remember what it was. Were you talking about for the Brojo? Like, why that? Or?
Well, I'm talking about Pine Creek.
Yeah, I remember what it was. Yeah.
Yes,
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think Calvinism did come up, and he asked me a few questions.
Excuse me, Joe. I was about to explain what I wanted to know that you don't know.
Okay.
It was the whole thing was about the whole. Would you have a?
Would you have kids
child?
Knowing that they were going to suffer?
Yeah, for however little life that they were given.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, so how bad did Jill admit to? Like, how serious? Do you recall, Todd? Like what was the specific?
Your kid was going to die of painful, agonizing medical condition. Yeah, medical inside out.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's one of the most painful things you can have.
And your skin would dry up and things like that, and be terrible. And
okay, so
survivor rate's really low.
And knowing that, Jill, and knowing that you didn't have to have the child, you would have it.
I didn't.
I'm sorry. I thought the assumption was you were in a case like God where in advance. I mean, so the future of this baby. I mean, this person, and then you have it anyways.
Well, if I'm in the position of God, then no. But I'm not in the position of God. I'm in the position of a human.
Okay. Now that reminds me. I think I was making that case at the time because that's what people were.
Well, but that's not. So we do have the capability to know that, like, if a child's going to be born with some severe birth defect or something, something debilitating, right? So we do have that ability. You don't have to be God. What are you talking about?
People acting like as if you were God instead of like, look, it's different. I'm a man. I don't know that the baby's going to be this way, but I think they were asking you, Jill, even as a man, if you knew, like, if even as a man though, if you knew, and then the next baby we have, or if we have sex,
we're forgetting something. That would mean that we would have to either use protection all the time,
No.
Or-
Here's
or
the
we
deal.
would
I was just
have-
gonna fix
we
that.
have to
I
live
was just gonna
abortion.
fix that.
Oh,
I
okay.
was just gonna fix that. So here's the deal. Okay, so so you know ahead of time that if you have sex on July 30th, and this is a week away, you know,
And there,
that you.
I mean, that really is the crux of it right there, right? You know, it legitimizes abortion and contraception in many cases, right? So we can't do that.
pregnant and this will occur. So all you have to do is abstain on July 30th.
Is God
Right.
commanding me to abstain?
Neither one of y'all got any
No,
business getting
There's no
pregnant on July
commandment,
30th.
as far as I know. There's
Seeing
no
they're planning their honeymoon.
This is
Yeah, right.
this is just somehow you just received the knowledge that on this day, if she gets pregnant on this day, this is what will happen. And I guess you do whatever you
That's why
want.
Irenic gets for dressing up like Easy.
Now I'm assuming you're just gonna skip that day.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
What if your wife doesn't want to skip that day?
Oh well, then I have this. I have the body. The Bible says that my body belongs to her. So,
That's what I'm saying. See, that's a hard ask. Honey, please. Not tonight.
so
Well,
I, can't-
It's my
You
wife,
might-
man. It's my
but
wife.
I guess I'd have to have that baby then.
All right. Yeah.
Well,
God
you would
obviously
just-
wanted it to happen.
You
Throw your wife
seriously-
out at you.
You seriously wouldn't discuss it with your wife. You wouldn't say like,
No,
you know, honey,
there's no
honey,
discussion.
I know how much you like, you like the big monster, honey. But look, if we
She
do
knows.
this tonight, honey, this is what's gonna happen.
That'd be a
I mean,
violation of scripture.
Now, look, I'm, if you know,
Like you actually have to explain fucking ovulation to your wife. Like that would make any sense.
want me to, you need me to, I'm gonna have to, and and this is what's gonna happen. But just
Yeah.
so you know, going in, okay, so you still want to do this? I mean, you wouldn't at least do something like that.
Sometimes you gotta be like a
Yeah.
pimp. It's like, here, bitch, ride this pogo stick to the liquor store. Give me a bottle of. I'm tired of your fucking shit right now.
Well, I don't think Jill would treat us like that.
She'd probably say, "Well, how do you know God told you that?" That's what she'd probably say.
Oh, okay. And what would you say?
See, the
Just
thing
trust
is
me?
that atheists come up with these hypotheticals, but they don't understand how
Your
God
wife's an atheist?
communicates. No, God forbid. They don't understand how God communicates. That's why they think they can come up with these nonsensical hypotheticals that to us don't make sense. Right? We're trying to figure out, well, is God telling me to do it? Is he telling me not to do it? What is the Bible? What is the Word of God
God isn't telling you anything. That's the fucking point, bro.
say about this? None of that is taken into consideration. It's just magic. Right? That's not how the real world works. That's not how God operates in the world.
Well, I don't know. I think it's hard for them to distinguish what you're talking about from even like how most people kind of live their lives based on, the thoughts that they have at any moment.
Yeah,
Because
hypotheticals.
they're scared and butthurt.
They make up as they go. They make up their morality as they go.
No, so this is actually how we determine morality, right? Like the way that we think about the world, like when we engage in hypotheticals, because we don't actually know what's going to happen. So we can only entertain notions about what might happen, right? Hypothetical scenarios. If this happens, what would I do, right? And you think that through, and then you think out different, different ways that situation might play out, right? And until you actually experience it, you have no way of knowing what the outcomes will be, right? And then if you experience a certain, type of situation, over a number of repeated instances, right, that you actually are in this situation, say, like a soldier in combat or something, right? At first it's simulated and you play out hypothetical scenarios. Then you get into the real shit, right? Now you're actually experiencing this, combat situation in real time. And just life is like that in every interaction that we have with the world. We're kind of experiencing something analogous to that combat scenario, right? So we train for it. We do make believe, we play out the hypothetical situations in our mind, and then we go and experiment with them in reality, in like social situations and shit, right? Tog says you can only know what you make happen. And you can lean on secondary experiences, but it's not firsthand. Yeah, drawing on the experience of others, right? Yeah.
As opposed to the Christian, where we check and see, well, what does the Word of God have to say about this before I do it?
Well, I mean, in the New Testament, or in this New Covenant era, Jill, I mean, I think it's okay to just depend on the Spirit of God, because I mean, you don't always have that Bible handy.
What does that even
Holy
mean?
Spirit.
I mean, like Paul says, if you walk in the Spirit, you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. So I suggest that Christians do that.
Paul says that.
Follow that advice.
What does that mean, walking in the Spirit? Does that mean that I'm walking in someone's spirit? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Well, Jill, I could explain how I experience it and stuff, but I don't know if that would be,
I would say,
Period.
I mean, I could ask you. I mean, do you not walk in the Spirit? I mean, do you think you can not walk in the Spirit as a
No.
Christian?
I think Irenic may be leaning
Because, see,
Trinitarian.
I think Paul is instructing Christians to, make sure to walk, it's like a command, walk in the Spirit. And because I think it's possible just to be, not to walk in the Spirit. And that's how Christians can act out in the flesh and
That's
be
called
worldly.
murder.
Do you think a Christian who's acting out worldly in the flesh and sin is doing so in the Spirit?
Well, his conscience
what's-
is fatigued.
What is it that Paul also said? It is not I that do the sin, but sin that dwelleth within me.
Okay, I don't want you
How
to.
does that
I don't.
go with-
That was to Jill. So Tog. Okay, I thought Jill. Everybody knew it was Jill and I were having a
Okay.
Oh shit, it's gonna be one of them
Oh,
fucking
sorry,
conversations.
yeah.
No,
I see how
it's
it is.
just
Well, no, Irenic, he's shifting his conversation partner on whim, so it's easy to misunderstand that because you were telling Jill to shut up and let Tog answer a minute ago. So.
It wasn't an answer
Like
from
that?
If
Jill.
he wants to start the next one, we can just watch this one and
I
we'll watch
just
this one.
wanted an
decide.
answer from Jill.
Let's
That's
get a
fine.
room.
I mean, I don't mind you guys piping in, but you could have let him go
What a
first.
Jill hog.
Well,
Gee,
okay.
Irenic, go ahead, Jill.
Well, I mean, it's not like he's allowed in every channel
But
around here,
Galatians-
you know.
Galatians
Majority
five.
rules, Frenchie.
When
Go
he's
on.
in here, I got to give him special time.
What
Galatians-
is
Otherwise,
Galatians-
he may
That's
All right,
special
let him talk,
meeting
let him talk.
for Jill.
Galatians 5 speaks about walking in the Spirit. It's just a metaphor for
So Jill has a special existence on Irenic's channel there.
practical
so-
Christian living, basically.
Okay, but in Galatians 5, I mean, if I'm understanding you, that's where Paul is kind of putting he's talking about the two things: the faith in the Spirit, before faith came, or the law, and how.
I guess I would say Jill kind of has a special existence on this channel too, because generally, I've done some conversation. He's been in here, and hey, Captain Desk, good to see you, Dave. So I think we've come to an understanding where he knows that just certain things I'm not going to tolerate, right? Like, and so he just doesn't cross those boundaries with me. And so he's been reasonable about that. And so I see him when I see him, and it's cool because I do know a number of atheist channels that he has been banned from, but that's not everywhere. Like some places he says he's banned, but he just refuses to, follow the customs in those circles, and so he just they don't put up with his bullshit, right? But he's generally been respectful over here. He sneaks in some underhanded shit sometimes, but
ties the faith to the Spirit, right? And did you come to God? Did you come to God through the law or through faith in the Spirit? That's what he's right. Is this what you're talking about? And so you're saying that the new covenant life is just one of the Spirit, and you can't help it,
Is that a
regardless
question?
of what happened. Well, I asked him, a Christian who's involved in the flesh and in sin, whatever, is he doing that in the Spirit? Like, as Paul's talking about, walk in the Spirit, and you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. So I don't see how someone can be fulfilling the lust of the flesh and walking in the Spirit, because if you're walking in the Spirit, you're supposed to not be fulfilling the lust of the flesh. At least that's what I thought.
I can even go to the bathroom
exactly.
in the Spirit. Lust of the flesh, I can get a Happy Meal at Taco Bell.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if you want to deal with what Paul, how Paul
But
wrote it,
what
we can look at it.
constitutes
But
lust of the flesh?
I
Is
think
that
we all-
Taco Bell does not have Happy Meals. It's false.
what that
every
means,
temporal
like-
desire? But anyway, hey, if you want to interrogate Jill in a deposition, I'll shut up. Go ahead, Jill.
No, that's fine. I think
He's
everybody knows
crucified.
what we're talking about.
Well, Irenic has
Yeah.
crucified his flesh. So
Oh, I hope he's
does
not
not.
self-emasculated.
he doesn't have any passions, or he
Well,
walks in the Spirit.
do any New Testament authors recommend that we mortify the deeds of the flesh?
Bunch of
So that
cutters.
means we put them to death, right? Now, but how do you account for Christians who sin, Jill? Apparently, they haven't put their whole flesh to death, right?
Well, are they walking in love? Those who walk in the Spirit walk in love. So when they do
Right.
mess up,
I
they
agree with you.
go to God and they say, "Against you have I sinned, and against you alone have I sinned." Like
Okay,
David.
but that really is not the crux of the question, Jill. It's just, I
No,
mean,
it
look,
is.
when Paul says, walk in the Spirit, and
That's
you won't
love.
but if you walk in the Spirit, you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. How is it when somebody that's a Christian is fulfilling the lust of the flesh that you say they're walking in the Spirit?
Because it's their behavior or their reaction to their walking in the flesh. They admit it. They're honest. They don't make excuses. That's called love.
So if they do it and they just cop to doing it and admit it, then they're not guilty of it? Like what?
But what about the
We're
walking in the
reprobating
flesh
again,
part?
Ironic.
No, what about the walking in the flesh part that they were engaged
The
in
war is
that
that
they're not
spirit.
supposed
The
to
war
be
is that-
doing if they're walking in the Spirit?
No,
That's
that's
what
false.
you're not answering that.
The war is that spirit with the flesh. The flesh, when the
I
flesh is in
understand that.
charge, we know that the results are obvious.
Yeah, and when the
spirit is in
Spirit,
control,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, you ended with my sister.
and the good
Okay, now
qualities
isn't
within us.
doesn't that
Like,
explain?
open ass.
why don't you just say that explains what Paul means there? If you walk in the Spirit, in other words, if you're conscious of the
Well, I
Spirit
was,
of
but you was kinda
God,
cutting me off.
and then you're not going to be involved in. But you were saying that because you were saying somebody can be involved in sin and at the same time be walking in the Spirit, and that doesn't make sense.
Yes,
That is false
because
teaching,
of
dude.
their
So, okay. I don't know if you're in the chat, you might be able to unhide the comment. GeoSam said, how does one determine spirit and which spirit is it? Yeah, I don't know. Where does the spirit reside? What are we talking about? And welcome, GeoSam. And my awesome life, apparently new mod accidentally deleted a comment, so that was not intentional. You should be able to go back through YouTube. I might be able to do it. And unhide that person. I might be able to do it. Comments. There's comments. Sorry. Snafu. Oh, you accidentally time Tog out. Yeah, Tog is a friend of the channel. I don't think we can undo that, but he'll be able to come back in a moment. And I think I can do it like this. Add as energy mod. I don't think that can happen again. I'm only going to be going a few more minutes here, so yeah, that was accidental.
Happy Monday. It looks like people are listening to our private conversations again. You know, I'm just talking to you guys like you're my cousins and my friends, and then I look up and the media is very, very mad at me all the time. And I got to tell you, it is getting more intense out there. I think actually it's even going international. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, I'm pretty sure him and his husband Brigitte are going to come for my life, because check out this headline all the way from France. Brigitte Macron, la rumeur qui inquiète l'Élysée. I don't know if I said that good, guys, but what it means, what it translates to, is the rumor that worries Élysée. So they.
Oh boy. Anyway, I'll stop sharing that. I don't feel like pausing it every minute. Yeah. So anyway, just hanging out here on a Monday. I kind of got a new setup with my camper. I just realized I could save a lot of space by moving this thing over here, and I did. And it makes it nice for my sitting here watching the internet and stuff. All right. Looks like I better stop the camera. I don't know if it'll come back. Yeah, my oh, I know one thing.
It's the background. Mine does the same thing when I use the digital
I
background.
can change the settings on the camera. My internet. Ooh, what the? Setting the settings on the router using this motor. So I ended up changing the name, and under the Wi-Fi, the old name is coming up, even though when when you get the menu up. Anyway, hopefully the internet will be on. And I don't know if anybody even wants to come in and talk about anything. I just noticed there was no one out there, so I guess I can probably ramble on about a few things. But
I will be one of those. Hence, we save the video.
See if anybody will come in. Cigarette while I sit here. Yeah, so man, it's been hotter than here. Like record highs, almost record. I think it was almost record high temperature. I don't know if I actually reached it, but doing all right. Feel free to pop in if you want to. Special on right now. I'm just building a cigarette and rambling on a little bit about the weather. I haven't really checked any news today. It was because it's been so hot. And I took the dog. I usually take the dog out for a couple hours, but every day at least. But I went ahead and went early because it was been so hot. So enjoy himself, I guess, and I could enjoy myself. Without, So I took him out, and took him out earlier. So I'm usually out of the camper, but honestly, forgot to do that. Copy this here, paste, and there. Yeah, okay, there should be a link if anybody. Get a better spot. There we go. And we're off. Yeah, so I just noticed Candace Owens put out a new video on Macron's wife again. The rumor about her being a trans person. It's pretty wild. So
it is wild.
It's pretty non-interesting thing to talk about, though, really.
Yeah, a completely baseless fucking assertion, like with Michelle Obama or that boss, that chick who won the Olympic boxing match or whatever, who is not trans at all. They just thought she looked manly or something.
As far as I'm concerned, anyways. I don't know what you guys think. Pretty crazy, though. Some of the stuff these world leaders get involved with.
Like, not only do they not know anything about trans people, they can't even accurately identify trans people. Like, they can't tell the difference between a man in drag and a trans woman, so they typically conflate the two and call them the same thing because they just don't know. They don't observe nuances. Like, these, like anybody who's like really observing their surroundings and not just generalizing everything they see and trying to put it into this one bucket, right? Like, because that's what you're doing, right? That's what you always do.
Alex Jones is always bringing up stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Alex Jones.
Yeah, anybody is welcome to come in and join the show. Have a conversation.
Oh, we know.
Scream at each other if you want. Treat me bad. So, anyways. Probably hang out for maybe stuff in Ukraine. And it's like so weird that all the media, the mainstream news sources are so freaking on board for this for the establishment with their lies. It's just so blatant anymore. It's just crazy. I can't. Ever since I don't know. My eyes have been open probably for a little while, but
okay, somewhere in here, jump in.
I gotta see how to do that. Hey, Trusty, what's up?
All right, 14 minutes. Very good, very good. So we found that. I have to get out of here anyway. So, all right.
Business doesn't happen in the office anymore. It happens on the go.
Subject is black atheism, and just before the break we heard from Father Carl Fisher. And Father Fisher, I'd like to ask you a question. One of the things that Deborah Clark said was that religion is an inhibitor to the black community, meaning that it pretty much holds black people back. This has been a contention that's been held through the years, through the ages, that the religion is an opiate of the people. How do you respond to that?
First of all, I would totally deny that. True religion, there have been many sins committed in the name of religion, and I think that every Christian person would be the first to admit that. But the whole concept of a religion, the whole concept of a loving relationship with a God is designed to free the human person. It is not designed to suppress. It is not designed to hold people back. It is designed to enable man to very naturally respond to the full fulfillment of his human potential. And we are guided in that because of the fact that man is not perfect. We have beyond us another force, and that is the force of God. That is the force of God.
Men and women are perfect human beings. And in fact, the church does not encourage response. The church is not a group of clubs which are politically active.
You know, with all due respect to you, one of the things that you're guilty of doing, I use the word guilty, especially with regards to you, is the fact that you are preaching, you are in effect preaching your own moral code, trying to impose your own sense of values upon us.
May I your game to lay that guilt trip on me? May I interject? Excuse me, Ms. Clark. May I interject? And I'm wondering whether or not I'm hearing something here. You have a set of beliefs. You have a set of beliefs.
But she denies beliefs.
Excuse me, Father Fisher. Yeah. Is there a slight intolerance from both ends here of one other's
Have you ever seen an atheist on a religious talk show?
Is there a certain intolerance?
Have you ever seen
the interesting thing is obviously we are diametrically opposed. She says there is no God.
Do you see
we know there is a God.
Explained in the media?
Okay.
There isn't.
All right. Much love. Be well and stay trusty.